There are a lot of cops and robbers games, some good, some bad, some really bad, but most of them aren't FPS games. Aside from Payday 2, I can't think of that many off the top of my head, and Payday is a PvE game, not PvP. On the other hand, we have the Battlefield franchise, which is a military FPS games about Americans, which is always Americans, versus Russians, which is always Russians. Huge maps, crazy stuff happening. Let's go! Tank! So you see two very different things. So what happens if you take cops and robbers and you take Battlefield and you combine them? You get this. Battlefield Hardline was weird. It launched at an awkward time between Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1, and when people saw the trailers they were quite skeptical. It looked pretty similar to Battlefield 4, and stepping away from that military vibe to a police one was an odd choice. It was like Battlefield 4 with bandanas and Uzis. Anyway, the game launched in 2015, the game received mediocre reviews, Battlefield 1 came out a year later and nobody cared about the game anymore. So, 10 years later, was this game slept on or was it actually bad? Let's talk about the multiplayer. I think that the multiplayer was pretty good and had some good ideas, like new game modes, weapons, vehicles, equipment. Weapons in this game are very unique. There are loads to choose from. Now, instead of weapons being locked from progression, weapons are unlocked by buying them with cash. You get cash from score, so 100 score would be 100 cash. This cash system helps making unlocking weapons more important, as you have to decide carefully what weapon to buy, as you're going to be using it for the next few hours. It also lets you choose what you want to unlock. In other Battlefield games, to unlock a certain weapon, you would have to grind for a long time and just unlock a bunch of stuff you wouldn't use. In this game, you can just save up to buy a certain gadget or weapon you want without having to waste time unlocking other crap. There are some team exclusive weapons, so the cops could have guns that you could only use as a cop, and the crooks had guns you could only use as crooks. It made the teams actually feel different from each other. In Battlefield 4, the only real difference was the voice lines.
We got an enemy big fucking tank on the move in the AL. Come on, you fucking Russians, move your asses, we're gonna win this!
There were gun licenses you could get which would let you use exclusive weapons on any team, but these were hard to come by, they didn't just give them away. The new gadgets are pretty cool. There's stuff like grappling hooks, zip lines, gas masks. My favourite one is this syringe that lets you revive yourself after dying from an explosion. Most of the time it's useless, but when you use it it's so satisfying, and then you die before the animation finishes. There's a taser you can use which is a one-hit kill that lets you interrogate enemies, which tells you where their teammates are on the map. There are some new grenades. There's a gas grenade that does damage to players slowly and blinds them. And they also just found out that players take double damage if they have been hit by gas, and that's so OP considering how damage works in this game. And you get 3 of them. There are also throwing knives. That might be the most unsatisfying, terrible throwing knife I've ever used in a video game ever. First of all, there's a huge delay from when you press the button to throw it and when you actually throw it. Second of all, in the throwing animation your camera starts shaking, so it's harder to aim. The only time you're going to really hit anyone with this is if they're standing still and not looking at you. They have a bunch of melee weapons as well, and there's 3 types: blunt, sharp and heavy. Knife animations are quick takedowns like normal. Blunt objects have longer animations but will let you interrogate enemies like the taser. And heavy weapons don't have takedowns and are very slow but are one-hit kill, so it could be useful for killing multiple enemies in a row. It's not going to be good when you need to use it quickly. You unlock most melee weapons through battle packs. Everyone knows these suck, but hey, at least you can get some of the stuff for free. Take that item shop. You can also get gold melee weapons, but they are incredibly difficult to get as you have to complete these stupid challenges to get them. 91, 92, 93, 94. For example, say you want to unlock this gold machete, you need 10,000 kills, 1 million points, 500,000 points on vehicles, and tier 4 reputation in all classes in one match, which is stupid. Another example, you want this gold scout knife, first get to level 100, then get a gold star in each game mode. 1 gold star is 500,000 score, you need to get 1 in each game mode. That's like 3 million score, and that's not even it. You have to complete all the assignments, which is very long. You need to do like objectives 50 times and win 20 rounds in each game mode, and 1 round can take like 30 minutes just for this knife. Did anybody actually get this knife legit? Because if they did, they wasted so much time on unlocking the default Counter-Strike knife with some gold on it, and they probably died 2 months later from a vitamin D deficiency. There's also a feature called the Gun Locker that allows you to customize your character and your weapons with custom decals and colors. There was also a shooting range to test out guns and stuff. It was a real cool feature, so naturally it was never seen again in another game. Vehicles are pretty customizable, you can add paint and new gadgets to them, and instead of tanks and jets, you had cars and bikes. There were still helicopters and you could put miniguns on the cars. Let's move over to the actual main thing about the game, the combat. You still have the 4 main classes, so Assault can heal, Mechanic can repair and blow stuff up, Enforcer can resupply ammo, and Professionals can snipe. The main issue in combat, however, is the time to kill, which is absolutely terrible in this game. You will die so much in this game before you can even react to the first shot. An example, you're walking around a corner and you're just chilling on this roof, and so even if there are so many weapons to choose from, it doesn't matter too much when you can die so fast, especially if some of the guns having a crazy rate of fire. It's quite similar to Ghost in that way, a lot of weapons, but why change what you use if you can already shred people with the gun you already have? You'll get your own video, Ghost, don't worry. So close range fights end instantly. The second you see someone, there will be a 99% chance that one of you will be dead in the next. Sometimes I even feel bad for killing people, as they had no chance to fight back. You die before you can think about how to respond to the first shot. And the fall damage is inconsistent as well. Sometimes I fall 2 meters off the ground and take 90 damage or die, but in this clip from 2016 I got as a kid, shows me jumping off the roof of a building and living. Moving from damage, we've now got game modes. There were your standard Battlefield game modes like Conquest, Capture the Flag, Team Deathmatch, but there was also some new modes. You had Hotwire, Blood Money, Rescue, Bounty Hunter, Crosshair, Heist, and Squad Heist. Hotwire is where there are several cars on the map and you have to drive those cars around to earn points. The problem comes from the fact that the cars are really easy to blow up in this game, so most of the match is getting in a car, driving for 10 seconds, and then dying to a grenade launcher. Good idea, but not the best execution. Next is Blood Money. There's a pile of cash in the middle that both teams have to bring back to their base to get points. When you kill someone carrying money, you can take their money. You can also go to the other team's base and take their money, decreasing their score. It's pretty fun, but the central pile of cash is a huge choke point that basically becomes a meat grinder when the shotgun kids get there. Heist is basically operations from other Battlefield games. I haven't played this one recently, but I did play Squad Heist. It's the same thing, but 5v5. It's okay. I don't really have much to say, it was just operations, both cops and robbers instead. Rescue is like Counter-Strike's hostage mode. There's no respawn, so when you die, you're out until the next round and have to spectate. Criminals have to defend 2 hostages, and police have to go and rescue them. I think players get more health in this, which makes it so you actually have a chance to react. It's actually pretty well balanced compared to the Counter-Strike version. Bounty Hunter and Crosshair I never played, so I can't give an opinion on it. Bounty Hunter is basically kill confirmed from Call of Duty. Crosshair is like a VIP mode where one team has to defend a player and the other team has to kill that player. It also had no respawn, similar to Rescue. Anyway, game modes are alright, but have a few problems. But game modes need good maps to be good. So let's look at them. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to talk about these maps as the player count is so low, so I'll mostly be going off memory here. Downtown, it's pretty good. It's a standard Battlefield map similar to Dawnbreaker. This game also kept the Levolution stuff from Battlefield 4, so stuff like this crane hitting this building. Hollywood Heights is a really sick map. It's quite fun to play on. It's just basically a big house and just fun, man. Bank Job was another small map, but vertical, so you can go on the roof and stuff. Grow House is the Christmas tree farm map. This map was alright from what I remember. Derailed, I barely remember it, but I think it was, I wouldn't say it was bad. Everglades is like a sewage water map. It's alright, I think. Riptide's like Hollywood Heights, but a larger map in general. The Block is another close quarters map. It's great for team deathmatch as it's just a few small streets. Dust Bowl is great. It's another sort of generic Battlefield map, but that doesn't make it bad. It's deserty, so it's a lot more flat. And this is one of my favourite maps in the game. I'd say the standard maps in this game were actually pretty good. DLC maps, however, I haven't really been able to play on. Maps I do remember is the museum map, that was pretty good, and the one in Alcatraz, that was pretty cool as well. So overall, the maps are pretty good. There's no map in this game that makes me go, ugh, this map. This game has a really good multiplayer, but unfortunately the player numbers are way too low to fully enjoy it. On Xbox there's only 1 or 2 lobbies full, and one of those is a downtown 24/7 server. And the people left playing are the most sweaty tryhard players using the most meta weapons. Sometimes it feels like going to Arkham Asylum. Only psychopaths stay and play this game nowadays, so it makes it even harder as a new player to get into. Not impossible, but very hard. I feel as if EA is going to unplug the servers at any point, as there's no real reason for them to keep the servers up. There's like at most 100 people playing this game. The multiplayer is really great, except the time to kill is just too extreme. You die too fast, which is a big problem, and was a big problem for other people as well. Anyway, now that we're done talking about the multiplayer, we can talk about the campaign. The campaign is actually really cool. I never played it until recently and I quite enjoyed it. The game is structured like a TV show. The missions are literally called episodes. And before and after each mission you get a previously on Hardline,
Hardline.
which reminds you of Driver San Francisco.
Previously on Driver San Francisco.
Oh, you'll get your own video too one day, I swear. When you finish a mission, it says next episode starts in 30 seconds. There are about 10 missions in the game, with each one taking around 30 minutes to complete. There's stealth, and how it works is quite different from other games. When you're near an enemy, you can flash your badge, which will freeze the enemies, and then you can go up to them and arrest them, but you should aim your gun at them, otherwise they might pull a gun on you. You can also throw bullet cases to distract enemies. Stealth is heavily encouraged as gunfighting is much more difficult. If you're playing on hard mode, gunfighting is something you'd rather avoid. There's a feature called case files. In various missions you can find evidence, and if you find enough evidence you can complete a case. When you finish a case you get a new gun to play with in single player and a battle pack for multiplayer. You can scan for evidence using this police scanner, which will tell you how far away or close you are to evidence. You can also use it to spot enemies. There is also a warrant system. Before a mission starts you are told how many people have warrants and what they look like. You can scan people for warrants, and if someone does have a warrant, if you arrest them you get bonus points. There's also a rank system, sort of like the multiplayer. The more you level up, the more stuff you unlock, and the easiest way to level up is to arrest as many people. When you kill people you don't get any points. I'm not going to talk about the story too much because the story is one of the big reasons why you should play this campaign. The story is not the best thing ever written, but it's certainly not the worst. It's interesting enough to keep you hooked as a player to see what's going to happen next. It's certainly better than Battlefield 4's.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
Some of the writing can be kinda cheesy, but I think they did that on purpose. I think.
How about I tell you both to go fuck yourselves?
Then we go fuck ourselves.
Yeah. What?
In most missions there's a cool action set piece. So in one mission you could be falling off a skyscraper into a window full of people trying to kill you, and in the next one you could be in a downed AC-130 shooting missiles at turrets. These moments are also enhanced by the great soundtrack, with the songs making these scenes much more impactful. When you're in a vehicle you can turn on the radio, and they pick some great songs for this radio. Now I can only play each song for like 1 or 2 seconds before, YouTube comes and kills me for copyright. I really think that the campaign is probably one of the best reasons to pick this game up as of now. The campaign really excels at telling a great story of interesting gameplay and moments you'll remember for a long time. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece with no flaws whatsoever, but I wouldn't call it a big piece of shit fuck that needs to die. I'd say it's a game worth your time if you're interested in either police and crime games, or if you are interested in Battlefield games and want to see a different take on the formula. If you are a fan of both these things, then go play this game right now, it's great. While the multiplayer can be lackluster sometimes, there's still a lot of fun to be had in it and things you want to unlock that will keep you playing. And if you think the multiplayer sucks, well, there's still the story mode to try. The game is free on Game Pass, so you can play on Xbox or PC, and if you don't have Game Pass, you can usually get the game on sale for a few bucks, around 1 to 4 of them. Next time on Look 115, I will be looking at the crappy versions of Counter-Strike that definitely shouldn't exist.